Hey everybody, how you doing? I apologize for starting now. I intended to start, well, my original intent was to start this, believe it or not, at 10 o'clock, and I missed the mark. And the reason I missed the mark was because I really wanted to write this copy and present to you the definitive where we are, well, definitive to this point, because by the fact that I'm always making live streams on this means that the situation where I stadium is ever changing. It's always in flux, right? And that's where this is. So you would say, okay, what happened? Well, the Las Vegas Review Journal. In fact, you actually never really read the article, so let me go and read it. I didn't because what they have ever since Sheldon Adelson looked like he was going to pull out of the Raiders Stadium project. For those of you who don't know this, Las Vegas casino mogul, Las Vegas Sands founder, and I might add a wonderful town planner. And I'm not being facetious when I say that. I really admire what Sheldon Adelson has done for Las Vegas. Period. All right, and he spearheaded the Raiders coming to Las Vegas, wanted to put money, 650 million more actually, into the construction of Las Vegas Stadium. Either how you look at it, either you could say either strong-armed via lobbyists or cajoled, whichever case or some combination of both is the reality. Adelson and his staff did. They got the the Nevada legislature to cough up approximately $750 million, really $745 million when all is said and done, toward something called Las Vegas Stadium, which would be the new home for the Raiders, something the Raiders started looking for as far back as January of 2016. Yeah, that's right, just about when the ink was drying on the resolution that was sending the St. Louis Rams to LA to become the LA Rams once again and be joined by the San Diego Chargers. Now, the situation is that Adelson looked like he was out, but some people said he's still in. But the bottom line up till now is the stadium is under construction, yes. Okay? But the question is, where is it? And why is the pace of construction so slow? So what happened was that in an article that, as I looked through the Las Vegas Review Journal, was buried, because usually they have the Raiders stuff right at the front, right? Oh, now here it is. Las Vegas Stadium is 44% complete, says Raiders rep. And it says nearly half of the 1.8 billion has been spent in construction on the Las Vegas Stadium is about 44% completed, with 11 of 26 canopy trusses in place. Now, I understood it's supposed to be something like 52, but I digress. As I scroll down here, it also reads. In fact, now they're doing a video on it. They got a video that's opening up that I'm not going to play because I don't have the copyright and I don't want it. At any rate, it says Don Webb, Chief Operating Officer of Las Vegas Stadium Company, a subsidiary of the Oakland Raiders, said construction work is about 44% completed, with opening day just over 14 months away. Webb said the company has spent between 47 and 48% of the total cost, which is supplemented by a $750 million public construction contribution generated by, which actually is $745 million. So they're $5 million short. Not doing the homework here. And it says 11 of the 26 canopy trusses ringing the stadium perimeter, or he should write 2 ring the stadium perimeter, have been installed with the help of 2 super cranes and a small army of iron workers and blah, 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 blah. He says responsible for the roof, okay? The roof will be assembled on the stadium floor, then lifted into place. Last month, Webb told the Review Journal he hoped that all that would be done by July 31st, adding that if they aren't placed by that point, it wouldn't result in a delay in the opening. He said the schedule will be resequenced and the time made up. Okay, And he says the 65-ton, whoa, 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 okay, you get that, right? Now, that was the article. This is one of those typical review journal articles that throws out a number without crunching it. So, me being me, I decided to ask the question that anyone else would ask out there who had half a brain, which is this. If it's 44% done, what does that project out to if you go back to the groundbreaking, right? Right? I mean, that gives you a clear picture. If he says 44% done, then this is what you do. You say, all right, the groundbreaking was November 13th, 2017, right? Okay. So then you take that day, and you say, okay, what day is today? Well, at the time I did the calculation, March 15th, 2019, right? Okay, so what are the days between those two dates? Well, a cool online day calculator will tell you, without hesitation and within a split second, 548 days. All right, so those are 548 days. So how do you? Ask the other question. This is from basically remedial math. You take to figure out what total number of days 548 days is of. What do? You divide. You take 548 divided by 0.44, 44%. And what does it give you? It gives you 1,245 days. So you take that 1,245 day chunk, all right, 1245, and then you say, okay, what date is that going to get me if I go all the way back to the groundbreaking? Boom. The 13th of November of 2017, and I go 1,245 days forward. What does that date come to? Come to? It comes to April 11th, 2021. Again, it comes to April 11th, 2021. And folks, I'm going to tell you something. That's not the first time I've done one of these where are we calculations, but it's the second time that the final date has brought me to the year 2021 and not 2020, and early in 2021, okay? Now, the reaction I got from Rick Velada, and actually it wasn't for me, it was to somebody else because I blocked Rick. And I'll tell you why I blocked him, because let me get to that in a second, because I'm still slightly exercised about that, but not so much so as I was before. But enough to just say, that's not cool. I don't treat him like that, so I don't want to deal, right? Now, what that brings us to is a situation where, because we have this date, Velada says, well, no, they have to finish the roof, and then they have to go in to the bottom and then all this stuff. Okay, whatever. And then here was the catch. Where they're going to be, this is on Twitter, there are going to be more workers involved. The Review Journal said exactly the same thing a year ago. By the end of the year, in fact, there's another guy, Alan, I think his name is Snell, who wrote, well, they're expecting more workers, okay? They're expecting more workers by last fall, right? They're supposed to be up to 1,400 workers. So now it begs the question, how many workers are there? And the other question I have is, how much real information does Rick know by talking to Don Webb that he does not divulge because he is trying to help the Raiders? I mean, look, there's an old saying, where there's smoke, there's fire, right? We've gone on, it seems like the 1,000th article by the Review Journal that has wound up being some sort of damn puff piece that doesn't give us a full picture of where a publicly funded, publicly owned, get that, okay, you get that? This is not a private stadium. This is a publicly funded, publicly owned stadium that the Raiders and the Las Vegas Stadium Authority treat as if it's a private endeavor, when in point of fact, it's not. It's not owned by a private organization. It's not fully funded by private sources. The taxpayers foot the bill to it to a record level, whether the taxpayers realize it or not. Not only do the taxpayers foot the bill, for those of you who are saying, well, it's the hotels, pay for that hotel. If you don't know by now, with this project, what a general obligation bond is, you have a serious educational problem. Okay? I repeat, if you don't know by this point in this process what a general obligation bond is, you have a serious educational problem. Let me explain to you that a general obligation bond rests for its primary payments and primary backing of its payments on the taxpayer. So, when, and it's happening, the bond issue, bond debt, comes up short with respect to the amount of money that can be generated by the state and motel tax, and you can see that yourself, all right? You can see that yourself, okay? When that comes up short, the county can simply dip in to other reserves, to other revenue sources to pay the difference so that the bond issue, bond debt, is paid. Overall, the stadium bond debt times its debt coverage ratio 1.5 per month leaves it consistently in arrears with respect to what is owed. Now, if you take away the debt coverage ratio, there is barely enough money to pay for the debt. But in terms of insurance, forget it. The minute that bond debt gets to a point in interest, which is about 6 years, when it gets to a point in its cost where it does begin to even, without the bond debt coverage ratio, itself begins to outstrip what's coming in, then you've got a real problem. You say, well, what's the debt coverage ratio all about? It's an insurance mechanism. The whole point is you're not supposed to be able to float a bond issue if you can't show a revenue stream that brings you, really this should have been 2 times. 2 times the projected bond debt. In other words, what you're paying to the underwriters is your monthly bond debt. You have to make 2 times that. Well, when Guy Hobbs of Hobbs Ong, great guy, I might add, of Las Vegas, a Mitch actually, was engineering, got a great contract for his financial management company, was engineering this deal, he used a 1.5 to 1 debt coverage ratio. Ladies and gentlemen, a 1.5 to 1 debt coverage ratio is not virtually, it is unheard of for a project of this size. You understand what I'm saying? I've said it before, but it's been some years since I pushed this point again. It is unheard of for a bond debt of this size. That's why I referred to this as Raiders Deal 2. Because it's fraught with danger. This thing has so many built-in mines all over the place, it's not funny. Okay? This isn't a matter, and I told then Commissioner, now Governor Sisolak, when they were doing the brilliant and a lot of fun, I'm not saying that facetiously, I mean that from the bottom of my heart, groundbreaking for the much needed and very exciting Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority, Las Vegas Convention Center expansion, that, hey, the problems I'm pointing out here are fixable. If you adopt everything that I am telling you to do, you'll have a better project. Because what was the fix that I said then? I said, instead of having a hotel tax, a hotel room tax of 88/100ths of 1%, increase it to 1%. You increase it to 1%, you get rid of the problem, of the shortfall, okay? But what they were trying to do, and this goes all the way back to the Southern Nevada Tourism Infrastructure Committee meetings, that were established by another great guy, Governor. I say this again, great people. This is not personal. The people that I'm talking about that I've met by and large are fantastic people. I don't mean just great people. I mean fantastic people. All right? I just happen to disagree with the way this deal was done. I'm long past disagreeing with, how it was done because I know it's in court now. That part will be solved. I know for a fact that Oakland was correct. And I know for a fact that the lawsuit should have hit both the NFL and Las Vegas upside the head a long time ago. But I'm not going to lose friendship with anybody over something that can be adjudicated in court. That's not for me to do. That's for somebody else. I don't do that. I simply report what's actually happening. And my point is that everything that I've said, every single aspect of this project, so you say I was wrong about this or whatever, I wasn't wrong. I was trying to identify a problem and then say, this is how you fix it. This problem exists, and now it's staring at something that Rich doesn't want to write about, and the Raiders undeniably don't want to talk about, a $278 million and growing mechanics lien. Okay? Mechanics lien. So that means that Merrill Steele wants to make sure that it's going to get paid, all right? That's what that mechanics means. They're afraid that, hey, you know what? Somebody doesn't have some money. And right now, and Donis, you asked about the whole Coca-Cola sponsorship. Coca-Cola, and I've had constant contact with Coca-Cola, they have not been able to confirm that. All right? So what I'm considering doing is blowing the cover of a source, just to make that source cough up what they're talking about. Because, the person that told me this might think that they're being funny. I don't consider such things funny. My point is, if you have information and you want me to report it, you damn well better be telling me the right thing. Because if you're not, I'm going to punish you in a legal way. And the legal way that I punish you is by outing you and say, hey, look, you told me this. You're trying to make me look bad because you thought that it would make me look bad. I'm going to make you look bad by making it look like you don't know what you're talking about. But here's the thing. Having Coca-Cola as a sponsor is a very real something to happen. I want more detail about that information. Or if the guy is just making it up, or if he's guessing, he should say so. But I get no, all right, but as I said before, and I'll say again, it's no skin off my back to report that. Because, hey, look, Atlanta Falcons Mercedes-Benz Stadium has pouring rights. They have our sponsorship. So why should anyone not expect Las Vegas Stadium to have the same sponsorship deal? It's very logical. Why not? Okay? Why not? In fact, as I think about this, Legends Entertainment is the organization that is in fact, they describe themselves as a delivering solutions for legacy brands. So I'm typing Legends Entertainment, right? And how about Coca-Cola? Coca-Cola. So as I do that, I don't find Legends Entertainment actually align with Coca-Cola here. And because what I'm thinking, if that's the case, is maybe, wait a second. Big flashy signs aim to energize Phoenix Sports District. Not quite what I'm looking for. Phoenix Suns secure partnership. Innovative year-round weather report on Legends Entertainment District. Okay, that's a different thing. So my point is that there's every reason to believe and every reason to consider that that deal may happen. Okay? It is a logical deal to happen. It is a necessary and wanted deal to happen because if you consider that right now you have Caesars Entertainment, which is a major casino brand, Cox, and PPG, you just have 3 founding partners, and none of these founding partners, all right, well, 2 of the 3 founding partners are not truly household names. If I walk into someone's house and say, have you ever heard of PPG? They'll say, what's that? PPG? Oh, that's terrible. Oh, don't say that. No, PPG. What is it? Pittsburgh Paint. Never heard of it. Now, I've heard of Pittsburgh Paint. Now, Pittsburgh, people may have heard of Pittsburgh Paint, but California? I'll bet you there are people in Las Vegas who've never heard of Pittsburgh Paint. Have you heard of Pittsburgh Paint? Pittsburgh Paint's a name that's been around for a long, long time. But Pittsburgh Paint is not Coca-Cola. You understand? So that alone shows you just how important it is to have the Coca-Cola brand or something like it involved. To the extent that doesn't happen, it makes the project look that much worse, excuse me. It makes the project look that much bad. So the person who gave me the information, you saw them, all right? They're not doing me any harm. They're doing the project harm. If what they said was actually not true. Okay? So, now having said that, I believe them. But, again, it's no skin off my back. Because I look at it this way. I win both ways. I win by getting the information. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. These things don't happen for a number of reasons. Not necessarily because they weren't real. Sometimes they don't happen because the terms weren't right. Sometimes they don't happen because the person that was doing the ask from the sponsor is asking too much. And in this instance, there are a lot of examples of legends asking too much with respect to the Raiders Stadium. Yeah. And he's here. Thank you. And he chimes in right on cue and he says, I will say it again. Las Vegas Raiders Stadium will be a Coca-Cola account. There you go. Okay? Okay? So again, if it happens, I can't lose. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. If it happens, I think it's the greatest news in terms of the business of the stadium ever to happen. Okay? And folks, I don't have a lot of good news to report about this thing. It's not that I don't want to, but I don't go around making up fake news. Unlike some other folks. All right? Give me information that's real, that points us in the right direction of getting this thing done. I said it on the outset when this whole relocation was announced and they muscled this through the Nevada legislature, which I didn't think was going to happen, but they did. Barely. And do you realize that the majority of people that voted for the thing aren't even in office anymore? Has that occurred to you? Think about that. I believe about 60%, 70% of the people that voted for the Southern Nevada Tourism and Infrastructure Committee, including the governor, are now out of office. That quickly. Boom. No, they were mostly Republican. Nevada experienced a blue wave. Whew. One Nation says, as soon as I have more information, I'll post on my Twitter account. Oaktown is booming. Cool. Okay. And send me a private message, too. What I want to know, all right, is I want to know, when you say more information, I want to know who you are and what you do privately that gives you the comfort to say that, okay? Because you could be anybody posting anything. Whereas by contrast, all you have to do is, to find out who I am, my background, look up my LinkedIn page, what I've done in the past, the news reports that have been written about me, going back to Super Bowl and beyond, going back to the sports, Biz Journal in 1996 when we were talking about my plan to promote and advance a redevelopment scheme, or I wouldn't call it a scheme. Well, I would call it a scheme. It was a scheme. It was a design. If you can call schemes a play in football, it was a scheme. That would have generated $4 billion for the Oakland Redevelopment Agency. I even gave a presentation on it before the city council when I represented the mayor of Oakland. So they didn't use it because Donnell Choi, who was the Oakland city attorney and I thought a friend. He kind of backstabbed me. And after, behind closed doors, he and the law firm then called McCutcheon, Doyle, Brown, and Anderson said Zinni discovered a true legal loophole. They said that, all right? All right? That was behind closed doors. We were having these meetings. But when they got before the city council, they conveniently left that comment out, and I had to come in and say, hey, wait a minute, you said this. What they said instead was, well, it's risky and it could get us in trouble. How? I said, how can it get us in trouble? There's no case history. There was no case history around what I was proposing was called phasing of redevelopment projects. All right? Which gets to that kind of institutional racism that folks who look like me complain about, like, hey, if somebody black says it, someone white always tries to figure out a way to, explain it away. Oh, that can't possibly be. Fucking A, it was. So basically, rather than do the thing, we wound up with a redevelopment agency without the money that it really needed to continue the redevelopment of Oakland like we wanted it to. Okay? Put that in a pipe, it's smoking. So now I think you understand what makes me tick, all right? If I tell somebody something, if I spend time telling Mark Davis, the Raiders owner, something, or a stadium authority or anybody else, if you don't go back and do homework on what I do, A, and then B, research what I've done to replicate to figure out that it works, you're hurting other people, because you will come to see, which is, hey, look, this works, and now he's doing something that's in our benefit. You see, that's why it's so stupid. It's like, what I say is in their benefit, and yet they're going to argue with me? Or be like Rich Vallada and make fun of me? No, okay? So that's why I am the way that I am. That's why I come at you guys, some of you, a few of you, the way that I do. Because what I'm saying ultimately helps the project. The project has a liquidity problem. It doesn't have enough money. Now, what could change that is something that I want to see more reports on, and I'm going to do them. Because, again, nobody else is doing it. The Review Journal's not doing it. How much money will the Raiders make from gambling in the stadium? Because if they can get that going, if the Nevada legislature signs off on that, money. They won't have to worry about the shortfalls. Well, the shortfalls in the bond issue are one thing, but they could pay back Clark County if that was the case. All right? See, that opens up a dilemma for Clark County because, see, here's the funny thing about it, right? All right, look. And here's the danger that Clark County, and here's the danger that Nevada faces. If they carve out monies for the Raiders that can be applied to the stadium, which would help them pay Bank of America off, which would make up for any shortfalls that the Raiders would have in terms of sponsorship revenues. They need over $1 billion, right? What's to stop the legislature from coming along at the behest of the governor in Clark County and say, hey, you know what? Or the governor saying, you know what? We need part of that money. We're going to tax you on that. Do you realize that the way the Raiders agreements are written, the way the non-relocation agreement is written, is such that if a special tax, and that's what this would be. This would be a special tax. If a special tax were applied, the Raiders could say, oh, heck, no, we're gone, dude. Forget it. We can go back to Oakland. I'm not kidding you. That's the way it was written. They said no special taxes. That would be a special tax. So I'm sitting here, and I don't have my popcorn. Next time I talk about it, I'm going to have some popcorn right here, and I'm going to start getting it. Get your popcorn ready for this one, folks. Because that money is coming. It is the linchpin reason why Mark Davis moved to Las Vegas. It's why Mark Davis is basically not only dotting every I and every T, but going at every board meeting, every dinner, every granny's house in Las Vegas. So that he can be seen as a leader of Las Vegas that's trustworthy, has the right relationships with people so he's not pissing anybody off, and as a result, flittering away his golden goose in the form of the gambling revenues he sought after that caused him to literally sell his soul to get out of Oakland. Because that's exactly what Mark did. Will it make him a billionaire in the process? Damn Skippy. It sure will. Okay? It's an exciting thing to watch. How much are you willing to give up to be a billionaire? How much are you willing to give up for what you say, what you think you want in life? And when you get it, what are you giving up? And are you truly happy? I really hope at the end of all this, Mark comes away truly happy. He's able to really enjoy his life. Because if he doesn't, after all that, you know what? Something's wrong. Myself, if you don't talk to the Lord Jesus Christ, you won't have that grounding. Onward. Okay, getting to your comments. I think I answered Donis regarding Coca-Cola naming rights because then my friend chimed in. Joseph Amenderas, Joseph, how you doing? Says, I think if I'm correct, the stadium in Dallas has Pepsi pouring rights, hence maybe they have a deal with Legend. Well, yeah, the stadium in Dallas is Jerry Jones's. That's Legends all the way, all the way. But also, that's a great point. So what you're saying, and you know, wait. Let's think about this from an entirely other perspective. And Oak Raider News 365, take heed here, because what Joseph is saying is that Pepsi has pouring rights in the Dallas stadium, and that's Jerry Jones. And if that's the case, it's more likely that Pepsi, rather than Coca-Cola, would be the sponsor. All right? Now, there's one way to test that, one very quick way. And that's this, Coca-Cola at Cowboys Stadium, okay? And don't see that. In fact, this is what I got. Dallas Cowboys Stadium, this is 1995, ousts Coca-Cola, ousts Coke. All right. There is something called, let's see here. Let's see, how about sponsor? Sponsorship, all right. Super Bowl, yeah. Okay, Coca-Cola has pouring rights with college football playoff games, but Pepsi at more stadiums. And so Coca-Cola balks at paying NFL what it wants for sponsorship, and that was in 1998. That's how they lost that's how they lost to Pepsi. Okay. So let me see here. This is as of June. This is when his Super Bowl 53 puts Coke, UPS, AT&T, and Mercedes in a difficult spot. This gets to something else we were talking about before regarding conflicts between Coca-Cola and Pepsi, right? And so this may have been written by Daniel, no, may have been written by somebody I haven't heard of, Maria Sporta. And it says, because they're competitors of NFL sponsors, some giant Atlanta companies will just have to enjoy the Super Bowl festivities on the outside looking in. And she is referring to Coca-Cola, and there's a big Coca-Cola sign to mark this article at the start of this. So Coca-Cola, United Parcel Service, AT&T, and Mercedes, they say are in difficult spots. But as it turned out, they actually worked out pretty well for Coca-Cola. Yeah, Coca-Cola was supplanted by Pepsi, but if you were in Atlanta, there were Coca-Cola signs at various spots. Okay, so it didn't entirely out Coca-Cola. Just you know, noting that. All right. Um, for those of you who are interested in such things, such subjects as ambush marketing, right? Okay. Now, Oak Raider News, it says, I will say it again, Las Vegas Raiders Stadium will be a Coca-Cola account. Oak Raider News says, as soon as I have more information, I'll post on my Twitter account. And Donut says, do you have any connection to Oak Raider News with the Las Vegas Stadium project? Doesn't get an answer back. Joseph Amenduras says, I could be wrong, but I remember Pepsi was involved. You mean with, yeah, let me check that again. And then Ryan Huckabee says, oh, is Oakland a nice city? I've never been there. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. He says, it's deserving of is it deserving of an NFL team? Las Vegas already shown that it should have had an NFL team long ago. Why would you ask that, Ryan? That's, I mean, I don't mean to be insulting, but Oakland has had an NFL team for a long, long time. So to ask whether or not Oakland's deserving of an NFL team as if it's some sort of expansion team, come on. What you know, I'm okay. That's kind of one of those. Huh? Where's that coming from? All right. I don't know. All right. Oakland's been in the NFL since the early 60s. Joseph says, were you able to see my previous question about steel tariffs? I missed that. I apologize, Joseph. Let me go back. I don't see anything here about steel tariffs. I see Wavy, hey, Carlos, Raider Lou. Hey, Raider Lou, how you doing? Raider Lou 1990, Donis. And nothing about... No. You got nothing here about steel tariffs here. Nothing. There's nothing here about steel tariffs. You say second question, but I got, let me show you what I've got just to show you that I'm not pulling your leg, all right? Boom, okay? This was the first question, all right? See how far this goes, right? Okay? That was number one. That was number two. Hey, Adrian, how you doing? So your number two is not here, all right? You don't get, you're 1, 2, 3, 4, you're 5 down, and this is your first one. I think, if I'm correct, the stadium in Dallas has Pepsi pouring rights, hence maybe they have a deal with Legend. What I think may have happened is you may have inadvertently used a word that is not allowed, and that may have caused you to caused that specific entry to get auto-booted, okay? So be careful what you write, because if it doesn't get posted, it's because I have a 900-word count, and I put that in automatically so that I don't have to worry about having moderators all the time. I let the machine do it for me. All right. So with that, let me move forward. Adrian Sanchez, how you doing? He says, Adrian, Raider Information Center, here I come. Adrian, that's fantastic, but I'm not sure that the Raider Information Center is going to give you the kind of information that I'm looking for. Okay. The best the most fantastic information you can bring are photographs of the relationship between the stadium size and the total land size. So give us a picture of a real picture of where roads are going to be, parking, and that sort of thing. And then give us a picture where the steel's being stored around the property. That's the big story that's not talked about, all right? Joseph says, did I mention the president's name? That was it. Joseph, I just showed you it's not there, okay? So, all right, Joseph says, rephrase my question about the steel on NPR earlier. They're seeing China's trade war deaths where the U.S. is causing influx 25% in steel increases and passing along to consumers. All right, here's a bullet that Las Vegas Stadium is dodging. All of the steel that was ordered was done so up to the latest order was made in, I believe, October, September of last year. Okay, so they just missed that bullet. Now, for example, there were 66. They're called uh, borrower beams. That's not the correct term, but they were made by an Arizona steel company that was working under the direction of Merrill Steel. They completed all 66 of those. I actually announced it earlier this year. They completed about a month ago. They completed all 66 of those, and they announced under record time. And they specifically noted that they did so, in spite of an aggressive schedule. Meaning, hey, look, this schedule's really tight. We don't know if we're going to do it, but we did it. So I don't know where those 66. I mean, they're huge, long steel elements are stored. That's the question. There's not enough space to store them at the stadium, okay? So where are they being stored? Is it indoor or outdoor? Is it still in Arizona? Because if it's still in Arizona at that facility, they have to still truck it from Arizona to Las Vegas. That takes some time. If it's outdoors, how does that affect their condition? You know, there's a lot of questions there. So Brian Huckabee says, sorry, that's not what I meant. I'm from Phoenix. Hey, friend of my home, my friend Eric Metz, great sports agent. Sorry, that's not what I meant. I'm from Phoenix. I feel you on that. I'm a Raiders fan. Sorry, I just wanted to know Oakland as roots when it comes to the city itself. I'm not from the roots of what makes Oakland. Okay? Adrian Sanchez says, gonna take a flag pick in front of stadium site. Gonna bury an LA Raiders chain in the construction dirt for good luck in Vegas. Hey, Adrian, here's a suggestion. Bury it in the north side, all right? Closer to the strip, like northeast, pointing at the strip. I don't know why I say that. It just seems like the right thing to do if you're, betting, right? You're planning a lucky charm. You want to win money, right? I don't know. Adrian Sanchez wants to start the Phoenix, or has started the Phoenix Raider Nation chapter. Congratulations. And Joseph Amandera says, I guess my question was if additional steel is needed, I wonder if that's going to cause additional ballooning costs of the stadium. The answer is hell yeah. And Joseph, that is, you win, ding, the order, and I should have prizes for this. Zenny's question of the day. That is the question of the day. Sponsored by no one in perfect TNT fashion. I got that from Ernie's Nino's stat of the night. Sponsored by no one. Why don't the sponsored by somebody? But at any rate, that's Zinni's award. You win Zinni's award at some point for question of the day. So we'll park that. But you win the question of the day. And what is it? It is Joseph Amenderas asks, I guess my question was, if additional, let me show you this. This is a great question. I guess my question was, if additional steel is needed, I wonder if that's going to cause additional ballooning costs to the stadium. And the answer is yes, in two ways. First of all, if additional steel is needed, that would be to fix a problem. And I'm not, look, when I say this, don't go off saying, oh, Zinni says that there's a steel problem. I'm not saying that. I'm saying if that happens, and there is reason to believe that could happen. Why? Because the $278 million mechanics lien that's listed on the website of the Las Vegas Stadium Authority in item 6, PDF number 6, in the March 21st, 2020 agenda, all right, there, specifically points to a $278 million mechanics lien and change orders, some approved, the most not, totaling almost $100 million. And there, if those change orders call for the order of new steel components to be newly fashioned, then yes. Okay? Now, is that actually going to happen? Get your popcorn ready. Don't know. But I would tell you all signs point to that possibility. And that is why Joseph Amendoraz gets question of the day and the night. All right. So, Jordan Yancey says, could they store it in Henderson at the practice facility? And I guess Jordan, hey Jordan, how you doing? And I guess by that question you mean the steel, right? I would say no. Because unless, of course, you have exactly the same people building both the stadium and the practice facility, and you may. But if that's the case, even then, you're not using a facility there to store steel meant for another structure. Everything you want as much space as you possibly can get in Henderson only for the practice facility, the training facility, and that's it. I mean, if you're going to tell me that like, they have 200 acres, they only need 100, that's a different story. But they don't have, that's not the case. All right? David Such says, I have no idea what he's writing. And so because I have no idea what he's writing, guess what? That gets removed. Paco Sheet says, will the NFL help if things don't go as planned? The question is, well, yeah, but the question is how and to what degree. The last time I asked that question, or a question like it, I was told, ask the Raiders. And then I didn't. Then the second time I asked it, I didn't get an answer. So the NFL has made it quite clear it's not going to go in the direction of wading in the Raiders' public relations business. And I believe part of that has to do with the legal issues that are befalling the project. Okay? So, and so Renee Bizaflores says, is their whole training camp facility going to be indoors? Because they don't got the Napa Red or they're in Las Vegas. Indoor, outdoor. Corey Brown says, I think the NFL should have a crowding policy in terms of team proximity to one another. Going to be 4 teams in that corner of the United States. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Corey. I don't see, the Rams, the Raiders, the Chargers, and the Cards. That's right. You can make an argument in terms of population density and growth, but you can make an argument that, I mean, that's a lot of football to have close into each other. Who would be the loser? Well, the Cards are sufficiently far enough away to have their own base. They're okay. I would have to say the loser would probably be the Chargers. Out of all that, in this order, I would say it's going to look like Rams, Raiders, Chargers, Rams, Raiders, Cardinals, Chargers. If I had to pick it, all right. But I want to study that more. That's just off the top of my head. Thanks for that. Thanks for the tip there as far as an idea. Joseph Amendoraz says, according to Sports Business Journal in 2016, Dallas renewed its beverages, salty snacks rights to the stadium in incomplete. Sean Grogan, how you doing? Good evening. Paco Sheet asks, would the NFL change the venue for the draft if things are not ready to go? The NFL, they could. I know that they've done it with the Super Bowl. They did it. The NFL has never done it with a draft, though. No, that's not true. No, come on, Zenny, what's wrong with you? Dude, what's wrong with you? The NFL did do that with the draft, but it didn't. When it did, it was within the same city. It was New York. And that was my first year of covering the NFL draft. That was in 2005. Originally, the draft was at Madison Square Garden, but they had a scheduling issue that, if memory serves, involved space available, so they were going to go to Radio City. But then there was another scheduling issue having to do with Disney, And so they went over to Javits for that 1 year. That was 2005. That was the year that Alex Smith was taken as the first pick in the NFL draft, and he went to the San Francisco 49ers, whereas the person who was expected to do that, and I expected and wanted to do that, Aaron Rodgers, fell to 25th and into the waiting arms of the collective waiting arms of the Green Bay Packers. I was there. So then after Javits, we moved to Radio City Music Hall in 2006, and so began some of the most extraordinary years of covering the NFL I've ever had. Although I have to say Nashville ranks right up there with everything else. That was a blast. The only thing I would change about Nashville is I think if I did it again, I would get a hotel. I would have gotten a hotel closer in. I was out by the airport. You know, now that I understand the terrain, because I was driving, it was a 20-minute drive back and forward, and then I did that once in the rain, in a car I wasn't familiar with, in the dark, and I was like, ugh. Jordan Yancey says, "Are you going to Vegas next year for the draft?" Yeah. Hey, I'm going to Vegas every single year for CES. Have you never looked at, Jordan Yancey, have you ever looked at my CES Las Vegas videos? Just curious. I have 10 years worth of them. So why would I not go to the NFL draft? Have you ever looked at them? Just curious. Waiting for your answer. At any rate, Joseph M. Madura says, sorry, in Dallas Stadium, the contract was renewed again for Pepsi. And see, Joseph, that's a great point. And that means I need to dig, because if Legends is more willing, I mean, the question is, I can't imagine that they would segregate things out that way, but they might. If they already have a relationship with Pepsi at Cowboy Stadium, isn't it more logical they carry Pepsi than Coca-Cola? Never know. All right? Here's the one thing that we all know right now. There are only 3 major sponsors for the Oakland Raiders Las Vegas Stadium. All right? Jordan says, we will have to go to Bobby Flay's and eat some steak. Deal. You got it. You got it. You know, Bobby Flay, is the steak at Bobby Flay better than Ruth Chris? I like Ruth Chris and Harris. That's pretty good. Ruth Chris and Harris is pretty good steak. I like that. You get that old world mahogany feel, and you get the window, if you want, that looks over to the steak. Jordan looks over to the steak. See, Jordan, you got steak on my mind, dude. So Jordan Yancey says that look, Vegas is known for its restaurants, okay? And if you're a foodie like myself, and it sounds like Jordan Yancey is, Vegas is heaven for you. So Jordan Yancey says that the steak at Bobby Flay's is better. How about Gordon Ramsay? All right. Gordon Ramsay and Caesars has a great. They had a great chicken, and they had this kind of pureed split pea kind of soup that I thought I'd hate, but actually wound up really loving. He has a way of making a split pea soup that's just out of this world, top notch, and it's even better when your client takes you there. That's what happened. And so Rena Beers Flores says, it would be great if the NFL did the draft next year at the half-built Las Vegas stadium with construction noise. Are you kidding? You want to get people killed? He says, with construction noise going on in the background. No way. I mean, that is a sure. I mean, look, you don't want that to happen, all right? Do you realize, and I'm not kidding you when I say this, all right? Do you realize the stadium is basically 1.5 blocks away from a doggone earthquake fault? It's called the Decatur Fault. What if it just so happened that there was a minor earthquake and you're at the construction site with like a about another, what, 400 or 500,000 of people, you know, running, and just the right moment, the right vibration, on top of everything else, and then katoosh, someone gets hit. I don't mean katoosh, the whole thing comes down. I mean, all it takes is one piece of material to go this way or that way, or somebody gets hit. Next thing you know, bingo, huge lawsuits and a lot of disaster that you don't want to deal with. Nah, just, you know what? Finish the stadium. Again, do it right. I don't understand what this rushing stuff is about. Slow down. Do it right. Do it right, okay? Do it right. Do it right. All right. Joseph Mandera says, I think a dig indicator would be when Inglewood Stadium will have its point rights. And I haven't, you know, in neither case have I heard any credible sponsorship information coming out. The Rams, I haven't heard a thing. In fact, let's try that. LA Rams new stadium sponsors. Okay. I don't see any news. The LA Stadium Entertainment District expands roster. There's something here in Billboard that indicates a clue. One moment. This comes from Billboard. LA Stadium and Entertainment District expands staff roster. It comes from Billboard because they have a, look at this, okay? This is worth seeing. LA Stadium Entertainment District at Hollywood Park. Okay. Yes, I am. So they have additions to its leadership team. Marley Nasons will head legal affairs, and she worked for Ditton's, the largest law firm in the world. She's joined by somebody named Rosa Shin. Christy Casto Butcher joins LA Stadium, future home of Rams after 20 years with AEG. And Jason Gann is the managing director. Said that they are thrilled to welcome this incredible group of leaders. Michael Beamer is vice president of security. Senior director of security is Blake Paris. Chan Wan Cha is senior vice president of engineering and transportation. Mitch Bornstein is working on VIP outreach and influencer engagement. Ooh. VIP outreach and influencer engagement. Hello. Call me, man. Engage me. Christy Mexa is the corporate communications director, focusing on media relations and outreach. And she was with Beck Media and Marketing, where she served as account manager for AEG Global Partnerships. AEG is involved. And so, yeah, there's nothing about sponsorships there, all right? So that's, yeah, nothing about sponsorships there. Okay. Yeah, I don't see anything that'll point to what I thought it was going to point to. Nothing there. All right. So, like I said, it's been very quiet. Very quiet on the sponsorship front for Stan Kroenke's facility. You know, again, given the amount of money that he has personally put into this, that's less of a concern than it is with respect to the Raiders. So let's see, naming rights deal. That's the United Airlines thing. Okay, I talked about that the other day briefly. All right, don't see that. All right. Jordan Yancey says the Clippers are trying to build a stadium across the street from it. Yeah, so if that's the case, then, and it's the same, even though it's across the street, it's the same complex. So I can see this coming. You have one naming rights agreement for two stadiums, and that would get you the largest naming rights agreement in the world. All right. That's what would get you that. All right. Because you would be spreading it out between two major buildings. It would be like if Oracle had its name, which should have been done, on both the stadium for the Raiders and the stadium and the arena. Okay. That would be conservatively valued in the Bay Area context. If you do that deal and you can't ask for at least 100 million, there's something wrong with you. 200 million, 300 million is more appropriate. I've always maintained that what they should have done was what I did for my Super Bowl bid. I had a dual naming rights proposal. You name the field and you name the building. So it would be Oakland Raiders or corporate XYZ Stadium at corporate ABCD Field. Okay? This sort of thing. Hi, Susie N. Don't know who you are, but welcome. Jordan Yancey says the owners of the form are blocking it. Blocking what? Can you clarify that, please, Jordan? Corey Brown says, I love a good grilled steak and loaded baked potato. That sounds good. You know something else? Another place I want to try in Vegas is I want to try Oscars. And that's owned by the former mayor of Las Vegas, who is married to the current mayor of Las Vegas, and that's in downtown. I understand they have a really good steak. Before Rich Bellotta started being, not the greatest person toward me, to be honest, we talked about meeting there, okay? But what happened in that case is that Rich, News 3 Las Vegas, now I reported this story, and I'll tell it before because this is the basis of it. News 3 Las Vegas, there's a guy, Steve Wolfson, I think it was. He went to Tommy White of 872 Laborers, and for some reason, he was asking him about some sort of steel problem. Now, different from what I had said. And I remember reading that, I don't believe it was Alan Snell, had alluded to some sort of steel issue, but Tommy said on video, well, you should go out talk to Zinni in Oakland. He's always coming up with wrong stuff. And that wasn't the kind of thing to say about me, but he did. And trying to make it look like there was no problem, when in point of fact, as we later found out, there was a problem. So I got a call from News 3 Las Vegas manager, executive, a honcho there, who apologized for what they had done and took that out because they know that it could have gotten them sued by me if I were of a mind to do so. It's like, hey, you're slandering me. Why do that? I haven't done anything to you guys, and I have. Not only do I have nothing against Tommy White, I have a video of Tommy White putting a Raider pin on me. Okay? If I disliked Tommy, I would never have made a video like that. But see, I can separate my criticism of a project for something personal. And in Tommy's case, there are people who wanted me to, say this or that about him, or basically there were people who wanted me to engage in their battles in their head about Tommy. Well, look, I don't have those battles, and I think such behaviors are extremely immature. Okay, and the people who wanted me to do this are people that I didn't know prior to this whole Raiders Las Vegas thing heating up. They were Raider fans, so they came into my life as friends. And, as far as I'm concerned, they're not friends anymore. And they don't want me as friends, which is fine, because they're only causing me grief and headaches. I don't get into this to pick people to dislike. That's not why I do this. I love this ability to tell our people stories, show you what's happening in key parts of American culture, help other people tell their stories and have fun. There are good people wherever you look. You just have to want to see them. And that's including in this case, all right? A lot of fascinating people are involved in this, in all sides of this thing. in all sides. But where I got him after Rich is Rich retweeted the original wrong story. He didn't ask me about it, even though I said, hey, that's wrong. He didn't ask me about it. It took News 3 to say, hey, look, this is wrong. You know, we're besmirching Zinni and it's not right, so let's not do that. So I appreciate there was an adult in the room. I really do. That was wrong to do. You know? So I blocked Rich on Twitter and I kept it there. Now keep in mind, I had Rich on this show. It was one of the better shows that I did. If you listen to it, I gave him the rightful mantle of expert, as I do all of my guests. He talked for 90 minutes, I believe. We could have talked for longer. All right? It was a great show. So you would think with all that, he would treat me accordingly, right? No. So, you know, there's only so much. If you like being a nice person, yeah, but you don't want to be you don't want to be just keep being nice and then have you feel like you're being kicked in the head. And that's how it started to feel. Would you deal with that? No. So what do? You don't engage the person. You just say, hey, you know what? I got some bigger fish to fry, my friend. And you know, having an adversarial relationship with you is not what I planned on, and I don't want to maintain it. So the only way to make sure you don't maintain it is to cut off communication with that person until they become an adult and say, hey, you know what? I'm sorry for what I did. Let's connect again. That's the way. All right. But I'm not even holding my breath for that. So, at all. So, Susie Ann says, I love Vegas. I love Biggest if I could be there like right now. Hey, Jordan, you never answered my question. Have you ever looked at any of my CES Las Vegas videos? Just asking, all right? Just asking. It is 1:55. There's still 37 of you. Thank you. There is, let's see here. Zinni 62, Las Vegas, and what did I say? Gordon Ramsay. Oh, you did look at him. Thank you. Gordon Ramsay. I think I have a video from when I went there. Well, this is the place I didn't get a chance to eat at much. Hell's Kitchen. Hold on a second. I walked in there, but I was gonna wait for. I was gonna try to get a.
Ahead of me right here. Have a look. See, there it is. All right.
It's a gorgeous place.
Behind me is Hell's Kitchen. You can actually go to the bar over here, Hell's Kitchen, and eat without a reservation. Just a little FYI. And I say that because that's what I'm going to do. So I'm thinking about doing it, okay? But I'm going to my hotel room first. I want to get this bag off my back from CCIG Tiger Rugby. Look at this. Beautiful night, actually.
Yeah.
I have to make this observation.
So my point is, you know, look, I in no way hate Vegas. So get that out of your mind. Sorry about that. Oops. Didn't mean to drop you guys. Didn't mean to drop you guys. Sorry about that. Put that out of your mind, please. Let me try something else. I'm trying to think. Las Vegas restaurants. Breakfast. Yeah. Breakfast. This is the other place in that place that I go to. That tends to be a fixture for me in Vegas when I'm there. It's called Burke in the Box. Breakfast at Burke in the Box. See? Right there. That's at Las Vegas Airport. All right? That was CES 2017. Okay? And it's near the United Airlines terminal, so I try to get there as often as I possibly can. Okay?
I got sleep.
I think I was talking about.
I thought I was going to get all these flights, no problem. I didn't plan it correctly. I should have waited The rule is if you're going to CES and you're going to fly out standby, the best thing to do is to wait. Thank you so much. Look at this breakfast. Look at this. Just for me. Anyway, what you should do is wait until the Monday after or the day after CES is over. And I was basically trying to... Okay, so that's what I had laid over, and I was headed out the next day. So I was having breakfast at Burke. At Burke in the Box. Yeah, and so the other places, there was one. I mean, to show you, Las Vegas ties and all that. This is another. This photograph right here. Oh, Rio's supposed to be closing soon? Hold on a second. This photograph right here, right? This is of a party that I was a co-sponsor of at the Mandalay Bay Mix Lounge. It was a Mandalay Bay Mix Lounge Zenny 62 party. This is a picture from it on Pinterest, okay? This was way back in 2013. I did that with a friend of mine, a social media friend. And so if you do this, let's see, yeah, copy, and then you can paste it. The only problem with that party was I got sick. Yeah, folks, I got sick at my own party. I had to leave early. Hold on a second. There's YouTube, right there it is. This is the promotional video that I made for my party. Hey everybody, this Tuesday, January 8th, the start of CES, the end of the New Media Expo, we're having the party to end all parties. Literally, it's at the top of Mandalay Bay at the fabulous Mix Lounge. Take a look at this incredible place, 64 stories up. So join Jessica Northey, me, and also our star, DJ Do Music, for an incredible party that starts at 11 o'clock. So you can go to your other events and sessions, your other parties. You can go to the International Web TV Academy Awards, but then come to our party at 11 o'clock. That's when the DJ starts spinning. That's when the place gets rocking. This is not a party just for bloggers. All you need to get in is either a badge from the New Media Expo or CES. That's it. Bring yourself, bring your fun attitude, bring your smartphone so that you can use social media to tell other people about the fun we're having. But better yet, use it right now to tell other people to join you at our party. Tuesday, January 8th, 11 p.m. at night at Mandalay Bay at Mix Lounge, 64 stories up. I think that's incredible. Join us. That was and it was a fun party, folks. But like I said, unfortunately, I got sick at my own party. Dang it. But I did. It was. Oh, I hate that. That was too bad. That was a lot of fun. But like I said, for those of you who have this idea that I hate Vegas, I mean, all right, I think you're getting the full picture. Where I was, all this is basically in a position where it was placed, of all things that could happen, it was this. It was kind of like, oh, man, this thing is happening to the Raiders, but then, oh, man, I love Vegas, and then, oh, man, the city of Oakland tried to do this, but, oh, man, they were lied to, but, oh, man, they should have done this, and all that, you know what I mean? And I was caught in the middle of all of it. So, that's it. So, hey, ooh, wait a minute. That was 6 years ago. I'm trying to see if anybody posted a video from my party, and I guess they didn't. Wait a minute. Nope. But here's something else. I was too sick. And then here's the this was the Samsung party that I went to. Take a look at this. All right. Okay. This is a Samsung party. See that? You couldn't miss that it was Samsung. All right.
Okay, but that pales. That pales in comparison to the LMFAO party that I was invited to by Panasonic, all right? And you would say, what? And I would say, yeah, if you've never heard of LMFAO, all right? LMFAO. And the guy whose name was Shu, wait, here it is. Here he is. This is it. This was 7 years ago. Again, this is how far back I go, all right? This is 7 years ago. No, I'm not. This is 7 years ago. Oh, okay. Boom. This was 7 years ago. Okay. All right, enough of that. You get the idea, all right? That was it was a lot of fun. It was a ton of fun. That was LMFAO. I didn't want to play all of it because otherwise it's kind of like, hey, you played our entire music. Well, you know I didn't. I was just showing the news as it happened at the time for purposes of news commentary. It's fair use, right? So anyway, but my point is, no, I'm not relocating to Las Vegas or anything. For those of you who don't know, I go between Oakland. I haven't seen my place in Oakland sometime. I've sent the rent. And here in Georgia for my mom. And that's my focus. You know, trying to build my business to help my mom. And so far, you know, after a lot of fits and starts, I'm shooting par, man. Actually, I'm better than shooting par. So, yeah, great feeling. So anyway, no, I like what I do, and I say this, if you want to be a vlogger for Zenny62 and you're Vegas, give me a shout out. Not a shout out, but send me an email and, you know, a resume of what you do. Preferably, I want people who are YouTubers, who have a YouTube channel, and I can make you a vlogger. And I would send you only send you an assignment where I could pay you, or arrange for you to get paid, okay? If you did one just spontaneously, you could get, if you thought it was going to go viral, you get 50% of the ad revenue generated through the YouTube system, all right? But that's the way that I roll, if you will. But no, I have no intention of relocating to Las Vegas for the Raiders at all. No. I wouldn't, no, I wouldn't, no. No. So, yeah, so there, okay? So there, no. All right. Let's see here. Sean Gory says, you'll have plenty of time to have fun. Ryan Abbott says Rio is supposed to be clothing soon, and then he says Las Vegas Aviators is Oakland A's AAA team in Vegas. Rio is speculated to be a future Major League Baseball stadium site. Ah, I'll check that out. Checking it out on the web and let us know if anything is developed. I will do that. And on that note, I'll wind down because it's 2:06 in the morning. And this has been a great conversation, you know. So we've gone on 78 minutes. 78 minutes. 1 hour and 18 minutes. Vegas ballpark. I'll check that out. Vegas. I'll take that out. I'll take that out. I'll check that out. Okay, and for my next show on Vegas, anything Vegas related, I want you to come prepared with your list of your top 5 Las Vegas restaurants, okay? Your top 5, all right? Now you would say, what is at the top of my top 5 favorite Las Vegas restaurants? The one that is at the top of my top 5, oh, well, you know, I don't know if it's so much fair to call it a restaurant, but it's this pizza place in the Cosmopolitan that serves this kind of New York style pizza that's open until like 4 in the morning. I think it's maybe, it feels like it's a 24-hour joint, right? I forgot what it's called. That's a favorite of mine. I like to go to. Discovered that Robert Scoble turned me on to that. He's a tech blogger I haven't talked to in a while. might get him on the show and start doing more tech. But the whole point is, that's one place. And what was the other place? Well, I mentioned Ruth Chris. I like that quite a bit. I used to like to go to America in New York, New York. I haven't been there in a long time. When I go for CES, this is going to sound ridiculous, but I actually enjoy, I think it's called, it's a kind of a cafe that's in, it's a restaurant that is in the South Hall of Las Vegas Convention Center. And I love the assortment of food items they have. So that's my favorite place to go to get a meal. I really enjoy that place. And there's that, as well as, oh, of course, Giordano's Deep Dish. That's the other place. It's on the Strip, next to Bally's, just out in the outjutting portion there. Great pizza. Love the pizza. Chicago style. I've been to the original too. All right. So tell me what your favorites are next time. Good night, everybody. If you just came in, I'm sorry you missed a rousing show. We'll be back. I'll be back. And I hope you come back too. Good night, everybody.